Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still playing out this massive warning signal on the larger timeframes, while the price has now officially confirmed a new bearish price pattern, setting up a bearish price target in the immediate short term, which we are heading to right now. So in just a moment, I'll be talking about my exact Bitcoin trading strategy, which yes, I've just now hedged this trade right here with a small short position, which I'll talk about in just a moment. How I'm planning to make money from this Bitcoin move no matter what happens here, while the price of Ethereum is now testing a crucial area on the price chart. And if we lose this area as support, we're looking at much lower price targets, while the price of XRP is already breaking below this important area of support. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator, at least for now, is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. But with that being said, we are getting very close to possibly flipping this into the red for the first time since the previous bear market, the 2022 bear market. And in case you're wondering, this indicator on this time frame for the price of Bitcoin will flip into the red if we confirm a weekly candle close in the price of Bitcoin below approximately 96,000. That is the level where this indicator would start to flip back into the red. But it is worth pointing out that during this massive multi-year bull market that started basically at the beginning of 2023 and has been a bull market ever since, during this massive bull market, of course, we have seen major corrections along the way towards the upside, where the price came very close, and even one time right here actually broke below this super trend indicator, which at that time back in August 2024 temporarily flipped it into the red, but we never confirmed a weekly candle close below the super trend indicator, never confirming the flip into the red. And so just keep that in mind. During these major drawdowns along the way during the bull market, a lot of people, especially near the bottoms, could have potentially thought that the bull market was over. We've already seen a major drawdown. That's not what we usually see in a bull market. So for example, around August 2024, a lot of people at that stage were actually thinking, I do remember back then, a lot of people were commenting here on this channel that the bull market's over, get ready for the bear market. But obviously we continued with the bull market later on. So just keep that in mind. We've not fully seen a lot of confirmation confirming the complete end of the multi-year bull market, but clearly for the next few weeks, or potentially the next few months, but at least the next few weeks, still expect bearish price action, a lot of weakness, lacking bullish momentum, which is what I've already been warning about for weeks now on this channel. Check any one of my videos over the last few weeks since basically around mid to early October, and you can see me talking about this new bearish divergence reconfirming with the latest all-time high in the price and a new lower high in the weekly Bitcoin RSI. And so once again, as I've already been saying every day for weeks now on the channel, this means that we're most likely going to experience a lot of weakness, lacking bullish momentum, which means at best choppy sideways price action, but most likely a bit more of a pullback coming over the next few weeks, if not months, as a very likely scenario. So that time frame, weeks if not months, expect most likely a pullback, or at best the price to remain range bound, showing weakness, lacking bullish momentum. Once again, same thing I've already been warning about over the last few weeks, and I'm still saying it right now. Continue to expect a lot of weakness at least over the next few weeks. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin price chart, right now the price is continuing the perfect rejection from this line right here, which is acting as strong resistance at around just under 111,000. And we can clearly see that the price of Bitcoin has pulled all the way back down towards these previous lows right here, which of course was the next target towards the downside once we broke below roughly 106,000. Obviously, if you watched my last video here on the channel, I talked about how in the short term we had a bit of support at roughly 106,000, but if we break that level, expect to move down towards roughly 100,000. And right now we're on our way potentially towards roughly 100,000, and then at close to $100,000 per Bitcoin, maybe even slightly above, maybe slightly below, but basically roughly around 100,000. Expect some support around here based on these previous lows. But if the price of Bitcoin simply breaks straight through $100,000, in that situation, expect to move down towards around 97,000 as another point of support to watch out for. And if we break that level, the next point of support would be sitting at around 93 to 94,000. And I have been keeping an eye on this pullback so far for the price of Bitcoin just over the last 1 to 2 days here. And this is just speculation. I have no solid proof to actually back this up, but based on what the price action has been doing over the last 1 to 2 days, it does look like potentially a massive player out there, a massive Bitcoin whale or a group of Bitcoin whales are trying to offload a large amount of Bitcoin right now. That's what this looks like, because usually during a bit of a market correction or market drawdown, we see some bounces here and there along the way towards the downside, whereas this right here has basically just been non-stop pullback. As we can see right here, we have barely any bounce, barely any candle wick. It's almost entirely candle body, which is a strong indication that a very large player out there, someone with a lot of Bitcoin, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, is most likely trying to offload their bags right now. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at this 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, here in the short term, we have now officially confirmed the break below this line of support, which was sitting at around 107K. As I said in my last video, roughly 106, 107K. We do have short-term support around there, but if we break below this support, like I said yesterday, expect to move down towards close to 100,000, which is exactly now played out as expected. But if we're taking a look at the technical price target for this head and shoulders pattern, which is now confirmed, is now active, looking at that technical price target, that is sitting at around 99, almost 100,000. So once again, roughly $100,000 per Bitcoin. We've almost already hit the price target, is the next target right now for the price of Bitcoin, and we're already almost there. And so congrats if you watched my last video here on the channel, and let's just say if you opened a short position once we broke below 106,000, shorted towards the price target that I talked about in my last video at roughly 100,000, obviously right now you should be making some decent profits if you took that short-term short position trading towards that $100,000 price target. And once again, right now it is looking likely that very soon we could hit that target. And when it comes to my trading strategy for the price of Bitcoin, right now I'm still in that grid bot trading strategy, which basically has a grid of buy and sell orders either side of the price of Bitcoin, as you can see right here on my Pinex account. And so basically, as the price of Bitcoin continues pulling back here, it continues to buy a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Bitcoin as we drop further and further with all of these buy orders, as you can see right here. And then the moment we see some sort of bounce back towards the upside, it automatically sells that Bitcoin that it bought at these lower prices. But as I've explained in recent videos here on the channel, of course, this trading strategy makes easy profits in the market for as long as we see some sort of bounce. And so far in this pullback, obviously, we haven't really seen any bounce. It's almost been a straight line towards the downside, which, as I've explained recently, is the one outcome where this trading strategy can lose a bit of money, at least in terms of the unrealized P&L. Because as you can see right here, the grid profit is the realized profit, the realized already secured P&L out of this trade right here from simply hitting the sell orders that secures the grid profits. And then this trend P&L is an unrealized profit or loss, of course, depending on what the price does, that can flip between profit or loss. And that unrealized number is basically the amount of Bitcoin that the trading bot is actually holding in order to have the sell orders there, so that if we go towards the upside, it can sell some Bitcoin to take profits at the higher prices. And so, of course, considering the fact that it's buying Bitcoin as we go lower, of course, if we have a straight line down, it's going to at least be in an unrealized loss while the price is dumping like this. But then the moment we see some sort of bounce back towards the upside, a bit of volatility like this, then of course it will take profits out of that volatility, out of that slight little bounce, as you can see right here, and has been doing over the last few weeks with this grid profit secured here. But in order to offset this unrealized loss for this trading strategy, I have just opened a small short position on Bitcoin over on my 2bit account, simply just as a hedge to offset the unrealized loss of this other trading strategy. And so once again, to make this clear, essentially this trade right here And this trade right here effectively kind of cancel each other out in terms of the unrealized P&L numbers. So as the price of Bitcoin dumps, the short position makes money, and the amount of Bitcoin that the trading bot is holding, of course, will go down in value in the unrealized loss right here. So this will have an unrealized loss while the short position makes an unrealized gain. And so they basically offset each other. They're relatively delta neutral, but then the moment we see any little bounce or volatility, anything like this, for example, then the grid bot continues to make money. And so by having this hybrid trading strategy, a futures grid bot combined with a short position to hedge against the market drop, having that hybrid trading strategy, I'm able to effectively protect downside. So if we continue dumping here, I'm completely okay because I'm now in this short position. But if we see any sort of bounce or volatility, anything like this, then the grid bot, the grid trading strategy will make profit from that move. And so basically by using this trading strategy, which I'm sharing with you completely for free here on YouTube, fully transparently, by using this trading strategy right now, I am fully protected in the market and also set up to make profits really no matter what the price does. If the price dumps, the short position makes profit. If the price pumps or trades sideways, the grid bot makes profit. And if you want to copy the grid bot trading strategy, this side of the trade, of course, I'll leave a link below the video. In fact, the second link below the video will take you to this page right here where you can copy the trading bot if you want to. You can see the actual grid, the realized profit rate right here, and of course the unrealized P&L, as you can see right here, and the fact that it's been running for around 18 days now. But because this trading bot's set up over on my Pinex account, you will need a Pinex account in order to copy this trading strategy if you want to. As always, not financial advice, no guarantees, but once again, simply just make a Pinex account using one of these links if you want to copy this trading bot. Unfortunately, if you don't use one of the links, this copy button simply will not work. And if you actually use the first link below the video to Pinex, that first link will take you to this page right here where you can also claim a bunch of bonuses just by simply making an account, completing KYC. You get a 50 USDT bonus onto your Pinex account. And also there's deposit bonuses. If you deposit just $100, you get a $100 deposit bonus, or if you deposit $10,000, you get a $1,000 bonus onto your Pinex account. Basically free money from the exchange just by simply making an account, making deposits using that link below the video. But once again, if you don't use that link, you can't claim any of these bonuses here. And also if you don't use that link, you can't copy this trading strategy. So that's an update on this trading strategy over on my Pinex account. And once again, I have that short position currently set up over on my 2bit account, simply hedging against the trading bot, the grid bot, so that if we continue a further drop without seeing any sort of bounce, then I'm still okay. I'm protected because I have this hedge, this short position protecting from downside risk. And of course, if we continue to see a major pump, then the grid bot will make a bunch of money while the short position may even end up in a slight loss, in which case, if we start showing some strength again, I'll look to just close the short position and remain in the grid bot trading strategy if we start to show a lot more strength. But right now, we don't really have a lot of strength in the market. And so if you also want to take trades just like this over on my 2bit account, of course, I'll also leave a link to 2bit below the video. And that third link below the video to 2bit will take you to this page right here, where you can also take advantage of some major bonuses. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check it out. Once again, third link below the video, you can get up to 10,000 USDT in trial fund bonuses and 8,000 USDT in actual withdrawable stable coins just by simply depositing and trading crypto using that link. And on top of that, without making any deposits or any trades, you can get a free $30 sign up bonus and 1 month free VIP3 upgrade. So basically very cheap trading fees and essentially free money from the exchange just by simply making an account using that link below the video. It takes about 30 seconds to do that, and you can take advantage of these major bonuses here. But once again, only if you use that link. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, looking at the last 1 month worth of price action, we can see that right now we actually have a major level of liquidity below the price of Bitcoin at around 89,000, just above $89,000 per Bitcoin. So keep that in mind. That's potentially a major target towards the downside. And on the price chart, we'll be sitting at roughly around here. And so once again, we're just now running into my first price target that I've talked about recently at around 100,000. But if we break below 100,000, in that situation, expect to move towards 97K. If we break below that level, expect to move towards around 93 to 94K as a major point of support. And then if we break below that level, expect to move down towards this liquidity at below 90,000, around 89,000. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, right now the Bitcoin dominance is still trying to play out the bullish divergence. But as I said in my last video, we're now perfectly starting to struggle at this exact area of resistance on the price chart for the Bitcoin dominance, sitting in between around 60.5% to 61%. So once again, as I said in my last video, expect the Bitcoin dominance to likely struggle, possibly even reject from this area, kind of like what we saw back here and back here, for example. And so this is actually at least a little bit of good news for the altcoin market, meaning things could be even worse for the altcoins compared to what we're seeing right now. Because if the Bitcoin dominance continues to struggle at this resistance and maybe even plays a slight rejection, that means the altcoins are actually holding up okay relative to Bitcoin. Of course, they can still be going down against the US dollar, but not necessarily dumping much more than whatever Bitcoin is dumping if the Bitcoin dominance continues to struggle here. But obviously, if the Bitcoin dominance eventually confirms a breakout above 61% and actually holds above that level, in that situation, if we first see that signal confirm, that would be extremely bullish for the Bitcoin dominance, which would be extremely bearish for the altcoin market, meaning a lot of altcoins doing much worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing. So if Bitcoin is dumping, expect altcoins to do much worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing if we see a breakout here in the Bitcoin dominance. But right now, once again, we're still struggling at this resistance, which is still something to pay attention to. And if we're taking a look at the price of Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, this is not good news right now. We have massive bearish price structure here on the 3-day time frame, talking about the larger price structure. So we've effectively ended this bullish trend right here, now clearly forming a larger bearish trend that will likely last for at least a period of weeks, possibly a period of months worth of much more weakness and bearish price structure. And so if the price of ETH is even lower in a few weeks from now, don't say I didn't warn you. This is my warning right now. Things are not looking good for Ethereum, likely going to get worse. We're heading towards next major points of support. First of all, right now we're running into this area and pretty much on the edge of breaking below this area on the daily Ethereum price chart, which is sitting in between around 33.50 to 34.50. So right now we've not yet confirmed a break below the area, but if we confirm a daily candle close below 33.50, below roughly 3.3k, in that situation, of course, and especially if we fail to get back above that area, in that situation, the next major point of support towards the downside is sitting in between around 2.7k to 28.50. So at roughly 2.8k as the next major level of support and the next price target that I'll be focusing on if we break below roughly just above 3.3k, around 33.50. And it's also already been clear for quite some time now that we're already in a bearish trend if we're talking about the daily time frame, forming lower highs and lower lows. So this is simply just the continuation of the trends that we've already been in for quite some time now after a short break, so a short relief during the trend, but that was not the end of the trend. As I talked about over the last few weeks, we did play out a bit of a bullish divergence, causing some choppy sideways price action, but a bullish divergence does not always mean the end of the trend. Sometimes it can just mean a bit of a short-term relief, but still during the trend before ultimately continuing the trend later on, which is now happening. And so overall for Ethereum, this is the last chance for Ethereum to avoid something much worse from happening. If we break this support, expect much lower targets, a lot more bearish price action coming soon as a very likely scenario. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, it's a similar situation for Solana, obviously still forming larger bearish price structure, continuing a rejection from this exact resistance in between 190 to 200. And we've now broken below this previous low, this previous support at roughly 170, and we're also breaking below around 157, this support level right here. So if that actually now confirms, in that case, expect a continued drop down towards this support in between around 143 to 146. And if that does not hold, if we break below 143 to 146, in that situation, expect to move down towards around 135, possibly even down towards 125. But overall, expect somewhat similar price action for Solana as what the rest of the crypto market's doing. So for example, if Bitcoin continues a dump like this, of course, that's really going to drag down a lot of the altcoins with it, which is of course happening right now for Solana. So ultimately expect similar price action for Solana as to what my Bitcoin analysis shows. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, we're still playing out this massive bearish divergence. So not much has changed over the last one day. Obviously, this is something that I warned about months ago here on the channel, and a lot of people were saying I'm going to be wrong about that when I called about a massive pullback, a massive crash coming over the next few months is what I said back in around early August, end of July. And a lot of people called me crazy for saying how we're going to be very, very bearish very soon. But right now, obviously, that's still playing out as expected. And if we're taking a look at the daily XRP price chart, we're now breaking below this important area on the price chart, sitting in between around $2.30 to $2.40. And for quite some time, that has been important support in the short term for the last few weeks or so. But once again, now that we're breaking below that area, and especially if we confirm this candle close below $2.30, which at this stage is looking likely, in this situation, expect a continued move down towards around $2.05 as the next price target, next major point of support. But it is worth pointing out that there's a possible new bullish divergence currently forming for the price of XRP, but not confirmed. I want to make that clear. It's not currently confirmed, not in play, just something possibly forming, something to watch out for in case it confirms, something to keep an eye on, but nothing to act on, at least as of right now. And remember, even if we confirm a bullish divergence like what we saw just here, that does not necessarily mean the end of the bearish trend. Obviously, we're still in a bearish trend for the price of XRP on the daily time frame, but a bullish divergence can result in just a short-term bullish relief, but not the end of the trend, which is exactly what we saw just here over the last few weeks, a short-term bullish relief, but still within a much larger bearish trend, which is ultimately just simply continuing right now. We're just continuing the larger bearish trends that we've already been in for months. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, it's a similar situation for Chainlink. We're simply just continuing the trend, continuing the larger bearish trends that we've been in for months. So there's not much else to add here. Obviously, we have broken below this important support here, which was sitting at roughly $16.50, give or take. We're also now breaking below this golden pocket area of support, which was sitting in between around $15.20 to $15.70. So now the next major support to watch out for is sitting at roughly $13.30 to $13.40. So basically, that's the next major price target towards the downside, especially if we confirm this daily candle close below around $15.20, which at this stage, it is looking quite likely that that will happen. And if that actually happens, if we confirm the break below $15.20, expect resistance in that area in between $15.20 to $15.70. So if we see any sort of bounce again, expect resistance in that area. But once again, we're simply just continuing the larger bearish trend for not just Chainlink, a lot of these crypto assets, but that's not necessarily bad news. Remember, as crypto traders, we can profit during a dump using a shorts position, as I am currently doing, shorting Bitcoin to profit during the dump, while a bunch of other people out there are losing money. We can actually be making money if you know the right strategies. And once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim the massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto like this, no matter what the price is doing, to profit no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or shorts positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.